What's up, gamers? It's your boys, Mason and Alex, and we're here with another adventure map walkthrough. Today we're doing Jane Eyre.
That is certified epic.
Alrighty, so let's get right into it. We're going to move on to our first stop. Welcome to Gateshead.
Okay, so let me break down what's going on here. So, you see, we are surrounded by books. We are in a library. And so, this represents Jane's kind of coming of age, because in the very beginning of the book, we see her, learning, like, she's reading, she's sitting in a library all by herself. And then her brother comes in, or brother in quotation marks, because, but, so he hits her with a book, and she starts bleeding, and this kind of represents, her coming of age, because, her first period and whatnot. And the other item we see are AirPods. And the reason we have AirPods there are to represent the sort of class divide and the money problems and differences between Jane Eyre and the rest of the people she's living with.
Yes.
As she's not really treated as much as a, daughter, but more of someone who's just taken in and not really cared for as much. As we've seen, she's been even told to, not even talk to the people she lives with at one point when she's being such a bad child.
Indeed. Alright, so we're following Jane's trail. We're leaving Gateshead and moving on to our second stop. Welcome to Lowood.
What do we see here, Mason?
Here we have Jesus Christ on the cross. And we chose Jesus because Lowood is a very Christian-centered place. They're very focused on Christ and the gospel with characters such as Miss Temple. And behind Jesus Christ, we have a mass grave of children who died from typhus.
And another reason we chose Jesus and just religion in general is because of characters such as Helen and, as Mason had said earlier, Miss Temple, and just their very forgiving and caring nature and that impact it has on Jane, where we see her sort of, go from this feisty kid to being like, oh, that thing that Helen said about, maybe kind of living with, certain things. Maybe that'll affect me later in life.
Yes. And so now we're going to continue to follow the path of Jane Eyre and move on down the road of life. And so as we're moving, you can see we're starting to come into a
Field of roses.
A field of roses. A field of flowers and of thorns. Yes, that's right. We're arriving at our next destination. Welcome to Thornfield.
And what do we have here, Mason? What is this? What have we stumbled upon today?
And see, here we have a marriage setup. We can see our simulated Jane and Mr. Rochester getting married, almost. And behind them we have the split tree. That is a very clear symbol throughout the novel. Split by a lightning, as you can see. Okay. Alright, so that is Thornfield. And you obviously all the roses signify it with thorns.
And so we chose the marriage as a key point, sort of because, almost her entire time spent at Thornfield has, it's a lot of it's spent with Rochester, and, nearing the end of that sort of section, her marriage with Rochester, and how that all plays out, and we see, Bertha coming into the scene kind of mixes things up, and it gets her to move on to her next area.
Yes, and now we're moving on to our next adventure, far away. We're going to take our scenic minecart route.
It's quite loud, but, sort of the way of things. But it's beautiful.
What a beautiful ride.
It's very peaceful. What a nice journey.
What a nice journey this has been. Epic jump. Epic.
Absolutely beautiful.
So now we have arrived at our fourth location. Welcome to Morehouse. And you may do the honors, Alex.
I feel you should, since you're recording.
Very well, very well.
Wait, before we enter and before we get noised and just, whatnot, I feel we should explain our symbol here. So the symbol we chose was family and money, both, actually. But family's the key one. So we have a house that's filled with a family of villagers, which are a thing in Minecraft, and they sort of look like people, but there's a bunch of them in there. like a ton. And so we did this because this is, like, when she comes to Morehouse, this is her first sense of family and her first sort of connection. Because sure, she had Rochester, but, you know, that's not working out for her right now. And sure, she had, like, you know, her other family, but they never really treated her as such, and they weren't people she could really trust. And so we chose this family because that's a meaningful connection to her.
Yes.
So Mason, you can do the honors.
And now we can show the financial independence of that $20,000 given from her uncle as you open the door, and it rains money or emeralds in Minecraft, literally infinitely.
Not literally.
Well,
you
almost.
get the idea.
You get the idea. So now we're gonna get on out of here
And we're going to head off to the last area.
to the last destination on this adventure map. Let me get rid of all of these.
Just throw them out, please.
Oh, let me fix that. Weather clear. Okay. And so here, and I'll go ahead and go in first
You can go in, Mason.
to the final destination. A secluded location where nobody would find it. As you can see, as I step on this pressure plate, light is given to the eyes, and we behold an olive branch. And what does that signify, Alex?
So the olive branch is a symbol of peace and often forgiveness. And much like we had seen with Helen earlier, we see this forgiveness in Jane towards Mr. Rochester. Because, you know, the whole woman in my attic sort of problem that, you know, kind of arises with Bertha. And she comes back and returns to Mr. Rochester. And he's blind and he's weak and he's lost his house. And he's just in this little area where he never wants to be seen. And she comes and takes care of him. And this is her, like, putting out her olive branch. And over time, with Jane's love and care, we see Mr. Rochester regain sight and slowly become who he ends the book as.
Yes. And that, thank you, Alex, so much. And this has been our adventure map of Jane Eyre. We thank you so much for watching. Tune in next time. Make sure to subscribe, comment, and share.
Smash that like button.
Smash that like button.
See if we can hit 2 whole likes.
2 whole likes on this video.
Woo!
And we'll do a giveaway. Thank you. We'll see you next time.